You ever have one of those mornings when you wake up and you look at the clock and you're like, oh yeah, I got tons of time, I can totally sleep in. But then you realize, no, you looked at it and it's like an hour later than what you actually thought and you're probably going to be late for work. This is one of those mornings. I may have overslept. My bad. Anyway, guys, good morning. Yeah, it's early and I'm tired. I'm really tired. So, first off, wow, thank you guys so much for the subscriptions. I didn't think I would get 22 in the first showing of this, so that's awesome. Thank you guys, you rock. And also, wow, that was a lot more comments than I thought I was going to get too. I thought it'd be like 1 or 2. You guys got like 7 or so, so I definitely have some stuff to talk about on the way to work this morning. If I don't get hit by a car. That was close. So, now here's the thing that I didn't think of. How am I supposed to read these comments while I'm driving? Well, I came up with a semi-solution, sort of, kind of, not really. Because the thing is, the way I would read comments, if I was to read comments, was I would use my phone and just pull up the YouTube video and read the comments from then, but kind of my camera's right here, recording everything. So it makes it a little bit difficult. So I figured out kind of another thing to do. I just brought my iPad and there we go. Okay. So, hey, look at that. How come I have a red light? First comment I have here is from Tabletop Banner. Hey Quirk, big fan of yours. Would really love this to be daily. What was your worst door-to-door salesman experience? Oh, my worst one? Okay. So, obviously, doing the door-to-door vacuum sales thing, there was a lot of houses that I had to go to and a lot of really weird people. There's one area that I had to go to, and I guess I should kind of give a bit of a backstory to this. What we were doing to kind of help my camera's shaking. What we were doing to kind of advertise for this was we were doing a scratch ticket that we'd send to people, and it was like a poker hand. And basically, it was kind of misleading because the best hand you got when you scratched it kind of gave you the worst prize. So if you ever got like a royal flush, you got like a pocket toolkit, I think it was. But people always thought, and then like the worst hand would give you like 10 grand. So people would always scratch a ticket, see royal flush, and figure, oh, I got the best hand, I'm going to get the 10 grand. So they would call and call and call. Well, I had this one person get it, and they were like, oh yeah, I won. Can somebody come out here and deliver my prize? They didn't bother reading the rest of the ticket because it says the prizes are available after watching a session about a medical cleaning product, which was technically what the vacuum cleaner was. Get back in there. So I got to this place, I walk in the door, and the first thing the guy says is, where's my money? I'm like, did you read the rest of the card? Because you do have to watch a presentation about this like medical cleaning system. He's like, no, I didn't read it. I was like, well, yeah. He's like, okay, whatever. How long does it take? I was like, depends on how many questions you have. He's like, I won't have any questions because I just want my money. I'm like, okay, well, I have to see your ticket. He's like, okay, so he hands me the ticket. I look at it, I see a royal flush. I'm like, this guy's not going to be happy when I tell him he's only getting a toolkit. So, one of the things that I was told when I was doing this was don't ever tell them what their prize is until after the presentation because they'll just kick you out of their house, which is completely true. Happens all the time. So the guy's like, what I went, and I was like, okay, well, I'll give you a prize afterwards because I have to call and confirm, and there's a little number on the back here that I have to kind of read out to them because it confirms the prize. He's like, oh, well, I have a royal flush. I'm like, yeah, I know, I see that. So I start giving the guy the presentation, going through, man, like, did you know your home has all these tiny little molecules in it that are so small you can't even see it, and a regular vacuum can't pick it up, and on and on and on. The guy's like, okay, whatever, I don't care. So as I'm going through this presentation, I'm like, first off, I can smell throughout the entire house that this guy smokes weed. I'm like, whatever. It's not the first house I've been to that I've tried to sell to that the owners smoke weed. So I'm going on, I'm talking, and out of nowhere I hear someone in the back start going like, who's that? And he's just like, oh, it's just some dude here trying to sell me something. And I guess it's the guy's girlfriend or wife or whatever. So she's like, oh, okay, well, I'll come join. And I'm like, yeah, the more the merrier, I don't care. She comes out of the kitchen and she's naked. Now, this is like, the guy was probably in his mid-40s and his girlfriend was probably in her early 50s. But she came around the corner, and apparently they were nudists. Nothing against it, just totally threw me off. So she sits down on the couch, and I'm like, okay, well, there's a blanket there. Maybe she'll pull the blanket on herself. It's the middle of, like, January, so she probably would. It's kind of cold. Nope, just sitting there. Didn't cross her legs, didn't do anything, just sitting there watching. I'm like, okay, well, this is throwing me off. So I keep doing the presentation and everything like that. And she's getting really into it. She really likes the vacuum cleaner. She's like, oh, this is really cool. I like this. Can I try it? I was like, sure. So she gets up and she vacuums her entire house while I'm sitting there on the couch. And all I have going on right now in my head is, how do I get out of this? Because there's someone here who's completely naked in the most, like, unattractive way possible, and all the guy next to me wants is something that I'm not gonna give him. So all I'm seeing in the future of this is gonna be the worst sale ever when I tell the guy what he actually won, and I'm gonna get chased out of the house by him and his naked girlfriend. So it goes on and on and on. And one of the things that we also sell with the vacuum, kind of like an extra thing, is a air purifier. And what the air purifier does is basically it has a charcoal filter all the way around, so it actually takes smells out of the house. So I went through everything, showed them the vacuum, showed them the price. They laughed at me. I'm like, yeah, that's fair, because it's incredibly expensive. It was like $3,000 for the vacuum. And basically, the buddy goes, okay, well, where's my price? I'm like, okay, let me call. So I call the office. I tell them what it is, and they tell me it's a toolkit. I'm like, yeah, okay. So I look back at the guy. He's like, so where's my money? I was like, well, you didn't win any money. Your prize was this toolkit. My hand on the toolkit. He's like, oh. Now, I'm thinking he's going to absolutely snap on me, because he's been, for the past hour and a half, going on about how he wants this money, what he's going to do with this money. It's so good that he's getting this money. He can't believe he won. So I know as soon as I told him he's getting a toolkit and pulled it out of the bag and went to hand it to him, I just watched his heart absolutely break. Now, this is where it gets interesting. His girlfriend goes, oh, that's really nice. You said you wanted one of those. She saved me. She prevented this guy from absolutely snapping on me and being like, what are you talking about? Finding some sort of a weapon and killing me, on and on and on. I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry, man. Like, I know you were excited for the money. He's like, yeah, but, you know, I should have thought of it ahead of time and known ahead of time. I'm like, okay, no, that's cool. So we got to chit-chatting for a little bit. He goes, hey, what's the other thing in the bag there? And he's talking about the air purifier. I was like, oh, it's an air purifier. He's like, oh, you didn't mention that. I was like, no, I just wanted to kind of show you guys the vacuum system. Usually if you're interested in that, that's when I'll talk about the air purifier. I was like, well, what does it do? So I'm just talking to him about it. I go, oh yeah, you know, it purifies the air. It can clear up a certain room space of this much, blah, 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 blah. It has a charcoal filter, so it takes smells out of the air. As soon as I said that, both he and his girlfriend were like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, it takes smells out of the air. Want me to show you? So I turn it on. We're sitting there for probably 10 minutes, and they're like, okay, well, I don't notice the difference. I'm like, well, that's because you've been sitting in the room while this has been on, so your body's, like, acclimated to it changing. So you didn't notice the change because you were there while it happened. They're like, oh, well, how do we know if there's a change? I'm like, well, do you guys, like, smoke cigarettes or anything like that? They're like, well, yeah. I was like, okay, well, go outside and have a cigarette and come back in and tell me if you can smell everything in your house like you normally would. And they're like, okay. Threw me off a little bit, because the girlfriend, who was still naked at the time, just totally was like, okay, grabs her coat, puts on some shoes, no socks, no anything underneath, just like a little coat that's barely covering her, and goes out on her front porch and has a smoke. I'm like, wow, I'm impressed. That's, wow, you're, okay. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, they're outside having a smoke, I'm sitting in their house, and I'm just watching this air purifier going, and I'm like, I swear, if they walk in and they smell everything they normally would, I'm dead. There's no going out of this, because they're just going to call me a liar at this point. They're going to take everything, they're going to try and sell all the stuff because they know how much it's worth. They probably think I have money on me. I end up walking back in the house, and the first thing they do is they take their coats off, they walk in the room, they go, huh. I'm like, what's up? They're like, we can't smell it. I'm like, smell what? They're like, you know what it is, what we can't smell. I'm like, well, yeah, I smelled it when I came. Like, we can't smell it. I was like, well, yeah. They're like, huh. How much are these? And I was like, well, they're $1,200. And they're like, okay. How many can somebody buy? I'm like, as many as they want. They're like, okay. Can we get 3? Yeah, if you want. Like, do you want me to, like, see if you get approved for a loan for this? Like, no, we have cash. Okay, like, that's $3,600 that can buy them the vacuum. I was like, wow, that's like the equivalent of a sale. Score. So I I basically get them all three. They go to the fridge, pull the envelope off the top of the fridge, which is like an envelope this thick. They pull out like a wad of hundreds, and I go like, there you go, that should cover it. When can we expect the other two? And I'm like, if you want, I can run to the office right now and get them for you and come back. They're like, yeah, that'd be great. So hey, congratulations to me, I got a sale, I got the three, they got the charcoal fillers, everything like that. A week later, that house got busted for a grow-op. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get charged for aiding and abetting. That's awesome. But yeah, that's probably my weirdest salesman experience, just because of the like tension, and then just the added discomfort from naked people walking around the house and vacuuming threw me right off. So that's probably my most interesting and terrifying salesman experience from door to door. There's other ones, but that's probably the worst one. So next comment, if this will turn. Anyway, thank you Tabletop Bander for reminding me of that. That's great. Next up I have Ken Hart. Most important, what are the things you can't say you did, and what music would have been playing? Pretty much anything that would give me a judgment, like bad judgment or immoral character. I'm not saying anything would happen, but I do have an apartment that's like within walking distance of the local bar scene, so something like that, like if I got in the car and I'm incredibly hungover, there's a good chance you guys know what happened, but I'm not going to go into detail about it. But that's something that would have happened. And if there's music playing, it's probably going to be a bad DJ playing remixed new music that just sounds like auto-tune terrible. But yeah, stuff like that. So Dr. Williams, please keep rolling if you ever get pulled over. I will try. There's a good chance if I get pulled over, a cop's gonna tell me to turn off the camera. So, speaking of which, I'm pretty sure that's a cop right behind me. Yeah, I'm getting tailgated hard. Wow, look at him. So, next up, I got. Let me try not to do this without getting caught. CJ Phoenix, what is your daily? What's your daily commute car that doesn't look like your Mustang? No, my Mustang actually sits in a garage during the winter and fall and a good half of spring. It's a warm weather car, just because I don't want to get salt underneath it and get it all pretty much against the body, because salt will. It's a full metal body, so there's a good chance if I get any salt on there, it's just going to be rust in an instant, knowing my luck. But what I'm driving right now is a Mini Cooper. It's my daily commute car, just because it's a lot easier on gas and everything like that. So that's my daily commute car. It's fun. We did actually, while at work, have it. Can I help you? This guy is like right on my bumper. Go away. No, okay, whatever. No, I have a Mini Cooper, and my dad has a Mini Cooper. He has two Mini Coopers actually. He's got some weird Italian job thing, and he loves Mini Coopers. But oh, there you go. Go away now. Nope, not a cop. Just somebody who really likes to tailgate people. Okay. My dad has like this weird thing for Mini Coopers. So, basically, right now I have a two-door. The one I'm driving right now is my dad's, because it's just more fun. I like driving standard, and my Mini is not a standard. This is a four-door Mini Cooper S. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But we have a video that I don't think we're ever gonna post because of I'm pretty sure there was some cursing in it that we can't edit out. But I have Chris, Steve, Leland, and myself all cram into my two-door Mini, and then I take it for a drive around the block, and Matt and Dave are filming it, and they're just laughing while we're all trying to like cram into this. So yeah, it was fun to film, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to get aired because of language. Next comment I have from, oh, it's a long one. Matthias, thank you for speaking. Oh, I think I'm speaking for many people if I say we want to know more behind the two wound Ludas. Okay, so I'm not sure if I actually have explained this, but pretty much what happened was I built my army on the first time I've played 40k in probably 2 years, and the first time ever playing orcs. And I built my army on Army Builder, and I didn't know any of their stats off the top of my head, so I was just learning them for the first time. And what happened was Ludas were on pretty much the bottom of the page, but when you print off an army with Army Builder, it puts all the stat lines at the top, so it'll say like their strength, their toughness, their wounds, on initiative, on and on all the top, and then it's just numbers all the way down for the rest of the list. Now what I had done was somebody said, how many wounds do Ludas have? And I picked up the paper, and I went wounds, and I followed the chart down, and I don't remember what happened, but basically I was following the chart down, and I ended up landing on their initiative instead of their wounds. And I went, huh, they have 2. And my opponent went, wow, that's awesome. And it never got questioned. Basically, I saw it and went, wow, there's 2. He went, yeah, that's cool. And then after that, we batch filmed probably 8 more after that. And I brought Ludas every time. Some games they got wounded, some games they didn't. Sorry about that. My phone was like, oh, you ran out of space. So I had to fix that. But yeah, basically I did that. We filmed 8 battle reports after that, and nobody at any point in time questioned my 2 wounds until finally one person was like, no, I play orcs. Ludas have 1 wound. And I was like, okay, and I picked up the sheet again. And at this point, Ludas were further up, so I could actually very easily see from wounds down and 1, and I went, they do have 1. Crap. Because I had already filmed, I don't know how many battle reports at this point, but I've been saying that they have 2 wounds every time, so it's like, I'm in trouble for this one. And since we had already filmed so many, Matt was like, just leave it, people will understand, we'll just put a little note at the beginning. And I was like, okay, except I did it for like 8. He's like, then you're just gonna have to live with this mistake. I was like, oh, okay. So I felt bad. To every one of my opponents who I had to play with the 2 wound Ludas, I'm sorry. It was an honest mistake on my part, but that's pretty much what happened. Next, Matthias basically says, did it become a recurring joke at work? Yes. Matt has basically Matt's using it as his default go-to for like, haha, don't get rules wrong for everybody. And even in videos now, he's been cracking jokes about it. So, do you listen to something while painting? I do. Usually I'll put anything I can find on YouTube. Usually I'll just, at this point now, it's kind of like the My Music option on YouTube. But I'll play that, and it's pretty much just a mix of any new music that's out there. I'm a fan of country music. I do enjoy it, but not while I'm painting, just because it's too slow and it makes me feel like I need to slow down my painting, so it just takes longer for me to paint. Normally when I'm doing that, I'll listen to classic rock or whatever's on that mix on YouTube, and every now and then I'll listen to a lot of joke music, like stuff from Tobuscus and stuff like that, where it's just like fun to listen to, like The Lonely Island, stuff like that. So it's just fun, it's entertaining, makes me laugh, and it's stuff that I enjoy listening to. Next up, I got what are your favorite artists? That's pretty much it. This talk while driving is neat because it takes 15 to 20 minutes to get to work too, so it would be perfect to listen to. Well, I'm glad. Happy to know. Next up, Thomas Kohler. Oh, hey Thomas. If people request you to perform a song on your way to work, would you sing it loud and proud? I would, and then I would apologize to everybody. I don't have the greatest singing voice. I can narrate, sort of, but sing, no, I cannot sing. So, but yeah, if you guys requested it, I could throw something on the radio and try my best to stumble through it. But Lee, who's our like in-house musician, I've sang a couple things just to kind of bug him. Like I'll sing Disney songs, and he just cringes. He's like, no, just stop. I'm like, okay, I'm done. So he does not like bad singing. Next up, I got last one. This is from Craig McLaughlin. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Nice work, Quirk. Nice work, Quirk. While you're heading to work, I'm heading home, and from half day at college here in Ireland. Oh, hey, buddy. You're from Ireland. That's awesome. It's nice to surprise to have a talk show to listen to while walking home. Cheers. Good idea. Definitely looking forward to more of these. Well, I'm glad, man. That's awesome that you have something to listen to on the way home, and that's awesome that you're going to message me from Ireland. Kind of curious to know what you're taking in college, though, because the only thing that comes to mind, and I'm sorry, I'm being stereotypical here, is just like a brewery thing or I don't know. Just inappropriate jokes coming to my head, like becoming a leprechaun. I'm totally kidding. But I'm here. So there we go, guys. That was actually a very convenient number of comments right there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this morning drive. As always, leave your comments below for me to talk about on the next drive. And remember to like, comment, and share. And until next time, happy wargaming.